This week on Cooking with Scorpion, learn about chopping, tenderizing, chopping, cake decorating, and chopping.
Well, that pretty much sums it up. Welcome, my friends, to Mortal Kombat 3. Mortal Kombat fever was at an all-time high. The live-action movie was right around the corner, and MK3 was coming out. We had to wait 2 years for this one. But that's not even enough. We got 3 releases of this game. We got the original Mortal Kombat 3, then we got Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, and finally we got Mortal Kombat Trilogy. I'm mainly going to be looking at Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 because it's the version that was put on the Mortal Kombat Arcade Collection. Why is that? Well, some balance updates and... oh, who am I kidding? It's because this version actually has Scorpion. Yeah, a Mortal Kombat game launched without Scorpion in it. Kinda unthinkable in today's day and age. First, I got some character biographies to look at first, so I'll be looking at a combination of the 3 games. Because Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 added in all the ninja characters, and Trilogy added in all the characters that didn't make it into the first 2 editions. Now, I have to use YouTube to download the Mortal Kombat 3 intro, as it's not included in Ultimate for some odd reason. But here we go. You have been chosen to represent Earth in a new Mortal Kombat. Be warned, although your souls are protected against Shao Kahn's evil, your lives are not. I cannot interfere any longer, as your world is now ruled by the Outworld gods. These are the words of Raiden. Yeah, pretty much an in-story explanation for why Raiden is not in the original version of MK3. For centuries, Earth has used Mortal Kombat to defend itself against the Outworld Emperor Shao Kahn. But Kahn becomes frustrated by failed attempts at taking Earth through tournament battle. He enacts a plan that began 10,000 years ago. During this time, Kahn had a queen. Her name was Sindel, and her young death was unexpected. Kahn's Shadow Priest, led by Shang Tsung, make it so that Sindel's soul would someday be reborn, not on the Outworld, but on the Earth realm itself. This unholy act gives Shao Kahn the power to step through the dimensional gates and reclaim his queen, thus enabling him to finally seize the Earth realm. Upon breaching the portal into Earth, Shao Kahn slowly transforms the planet into a part of the Outworld itself. Kahn strips the Earth of all human life, claiming every soul as his own. But there are souls that Kahn cannot take. These souls belong to the warriors chosen to represent Earth in a new Mortal Kombat. The remaining humans are scattered throughout the planet. Shao Kahn sends an army of fierce Outworld warriors to find and eliminate them. After the first tournament, Sonya Blade turned up missing. Jackson embarked on a rescue mission into the Outworld. He found Sonya being held captive with her nemesis Kano. In freeing Sonya, Jax also frees Kano. Kano then uses the chance to escape arrest. The ultimate advancement in Lin Kuei technology comes with the creation of the first cyber assassin. They begin converting their human assassins into soulless machines. But Sub-Zero refuses to take part as marked for death by his own clan. After winning the first Mortal Kombat and escaping from the Outworld, Liu Kang looks to the future. He begins training a new generation of Shaolin alongside Kung Lao, but nothing could prepare them for the unexpected Outworld invasion. You know what, I was going to read all the bios, but that would be redundant, so I'll just summarize based on the information from them. Shao Kahn assigned Shiva to protect Sindel, but Shiva is suspicious of Kahn due to his alignment with the Centaurs, the natural enemy of the Shokan. When the Earth is stripped of all human life, those who remain seek under Raiden's instructions to meet up. Liu Kang is their primary target. Johnny Cage is one of the casualties as he's killed by one of Shao Kahn's extermination squads. But the merger between Earth and Outworld prevents his soul from joining the heavens. Kano manages to convince Shao Kahn to spare his life by telling him that he needs someone to teach him how to use Earth's weapons. That's interesting. Jax equips himself with some new bionic arms to prepare for the fight. Sub-Zero and Smoke return to the Lin Kuei Temple, and find that Cyrax and Sector have become cybernetic assassins. Sub-Zero was able to escape discarding his costume, but Smoke is captured and converted into a cyborg. Meanwhile, Kitana is accused of high treason for killing Mileena, but manages to escape. She must reach Sindel and warn her of their true past. In reaction to this, Kahn sends Jade and Reptile to bring her back. Jade is torn between betraying her friend or disobeying her emperor, while unbeknownst to her, Reptile is ordered to stop Kitana at any cost, even if it means her death. Another Edenian by the name of Rain joins Shao Kahn's squad because he's a dick who values his own life over loyalty to his realm. Meanwhile, in the regions of Hell, Noob Saibot watches over events, reporting back to a fallen Elder God, while Scorpion is inadvertently set free after Shao Kahn makes a failed attempt to steal souls from Hell. Holding allegiance with no one, Scorpion is a wildcard in Earth's struggle against Outworld. The heroes make their way to Nightwolf's homeland, which he protected by acting incantations. New members include Cabal, who is viciously scarred, and Striker, who is a cop. Just a cop. Here, the heroes gather to make their big counterattack against Shao Kahn and take the planet back. Now, there's two characters who I'm not going to go into, Human Smoke and Classic Sub-Zero, because they're not canon. Oh, that's also not counting the two exclusive characters to the Mortal Kombat trilogy. The PlayStation version has Chameleon, who is essentially a palette swap of all the male ninjas. The Nintendo 64 version had a female version called Chameleon, with a K. Mortal Kombat 3, or rather Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, is perhaps the pinnacle of 2D fighting Mortal Kombat gameplay. You now have a run button, which a lot of people really didn't like at the time, but I don't mind it. But what this game adds compared to the others is an actual combo system. By mashing certain buttons together, you can string a combo together. This was brilliant, and you can link these combos with your character's special moves to make them more powerful, but there's a limit to how you can do it. See the meter under your life bar? That's how much you can do a combo or run until it's empty. It basically gives the game a faster feel. With that out of the way, I'm going to talk about the new characters and what's unique about them. Cyrax. Cyrax's most signature abilities is Net. He is also about placing bombs, so you can be strategic in how you use them. He's one of my favorites of the new characters. I'm not going to go into fatalities for the new characters this time, because I got something to say about the fatalities in general later on. Sector. While Cyrax has bombs, Sector's specialty is missiles. He also has a teleport uppercut that makes him particularly lethal. Shiva. She's essentially a female Goro. That's it. Sindel. Well, she's all about screaming. She's like a banshee. Cabal. Cabal is all about super speed. He's got two hook swords he uses as weapons. Nightwolf. Nightwolf is essentially a spirit character. He's all about using his spirits to enhance his abilities. Makes sense since he is a shaman. Striker. Well, Striker was not well received because, well, he's a cop and he clashes with the rest of the warriors. He's all about using grenades and guns. None of this really helped endear him to people. Ironically enough, the team thought he'd be a popular character. Smoke. Well, what Smoke has going for him is that he was forcibly converted from a ninja into a cyborg. That is horrible! Poor guy. But moves-wise, unfortunately, he's just a Scorpion clone. He has no unique moves of his own. For a guy named Smoke, there's nothing about him that seems to make him stand out. He's just a copycat. Ermac. Well, Ermac is the red ninja. He's all about using his telekinesis, which sets him apart from the other ninjas. He's a collection of souls, so he refers to himself as we in later games. Noob Saibot. Well, he's all about using shadows, so he's got that going for him. Rain. Rain is, well... He's got lightning, and he's got a roundhouse kick that sends you flying. That's cool. I guess. Jade's all about using her staff. She's also got a boomerang, and she has a copy of Johnny Cage's Shadow Kick, who was absent from the original releases of Mortal Kombat 3. The stages for this game are not exactly the most memorable. Rather than go for the mythological Asian aesthetic, this game goes for a Western look, with most of the stages being based on Chicago, which is where Midway was located. But for some stages, if you uppercut your opponent, you can take them to another stage. I can't speak too much about the stages, aside from Hell, which has a pretty decent fatality. But I will say I do like these backgrounds. It really hides just how empty things are. Shao Kahn has rendered the earth desolate and barren, and you really get to feel that. On the rooftop, Shao Kahn's palace can be seen. It's a constant reminder of how far you have to go to take the planet back to Shao Kahn. It's a really dark and foreboding feeling, which leads me to the fatalities. Fatalities are back, and I don't know why, but a lot of them are relatively goofy. I'm not going to go into all of them like I did with Mortal Kombat 2, but the fatalities just feel cartoony and goofy, and it really doesn't mesh well with the dark backgrounds. And I had a hard time pulling up the fatalities in this game because, well, when you ask me to press run and block back-to-back really fast, I just can't pull it off. Epic fail, I know. But I'm not done. I wish I could say I was, but in this game they really went overboard on the realities. because in addition to friendship and babalities returning, you got animalities. Oi. Basically, you have to do a mercy, which is accomplished by pressing run, and then pressing down 3 times before releasing run. You can only do this in the 3rd round, and then you can do an animality, and some of these are really bizarre. If I was going to go on, this video would take too long. I mean, Liu Kang turns into a dragon, that's fine, but Scorpion turns into a penguin?! I just... How does this even make sense? The last thing I'd imagine a Hellspawn Ninja Spectre named Scorpion to turn into would be a freaking penguin! Ugh. So that brings us to the sub-boss, Mutaro. Mutaro is a centaur. That's unique. He's not a Shokan like Goro and Kintaro, and he's probably the hardest sub-boss in MK history. Sure, jump kicks seem to work, but if he blocks it, he will grab you and take off a large amount of health. He can teleport. Oh god, he is such a pain.
Round 2.
Because if you miss, he will make you pay. Oh, I was this close to tearing my head out. And then there's Shao Kahn! Remember that strategy in MK2 where you can stand really close to him and do high kicks? Doesn't work here! Because now he has a hammer, and he will use it. Oh, and don't try blocking either and get into a corner. He will take note. Look at this!
You're still trying.
Eventually, you'll finally get lucky, and you'll beat him. The souls he captured begin to overload, and finally Shao Kahn is destroyed. That was so satisfying after such a long and hard boss. Well, now I gotta go into the endings. I decided to download the Mortal Kombat trilogy endings because there you get pictures for the most part, which was in the original Mortal Kombat 3, but Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 just made it so it's just a picture of a character and scrolling text. Baraka basically fails, he falls out of favor, but he attacks, kills Shao Kahn, and escapes back into Nomadic Ruins. Cyrax is basically reprogrammed by Sub-Zero, he destroys Shao Kahn, but he never gets orders from Lin Kuei headquarters, so he ends up stranded in the middle of the desert. This was given a nod in the desert stage where you can see Cyrax struggling, even when you're playing as him. Ermac basically turns on Shao Kahn, and he basically takes over Outworld. Jade chooses Kitana over Shao Kahn, and thwarts an assassination attempt by Reptile. Thus they help Kitana get to Sindel, and thus they restore Edenia from Outworld. Jax. Well, after they defeat Shao Kahn's armies, Jax and Sonya start the Outer World Investigation Agency. Jax runs the first exploratory division to which learns to open portals through science rather than magic. He leads the first expedition to a mysterious new realm. Johnny Cage discovers that his return is limited. As soon as the merger is undone, he will return to the heavens. Despite this, he continues on, and thus they are able to defeat Shao Kahn, and his soul ascends to a higher place. Why, that's surprisingly noble of Johnny Cage. After returning from near death, Cabal swears revenge against his attackers, but he once lived a life of crime as a member of the Black Dragon, but now he seeks to fight injustice wherever it goes. Kano. Well, Kano lures Shao Kahn's ways and nukes them using a stolen weapon. Thus, he takes over the souls that Kahn possessed. But he's unable to control the spirits, and he's rumored to have suffered a violent death, but he's ignorant of the fact that he helped save the world. Karma. Kitana evades the evil clutches of Shao Kahn, and thus she survives an assassination attempt by Reptile and allies herself with Jade. She manages to reach Sindel and turn her against the Emperor. With Shao Kahn defeated, the Earth is changed back to its original state, as is Kitana's realm of Edenia. She will forever be in debt to her friends of Earth, so she rules the new realm of Edenia at Queen Sindel's side. Kung Lao must scrap his plans of reuniting the Right Lotus Society. They battle Khan's forces mercilessly. He emerges victorious, but he suffers from injuries in his battle with Khan. Believed to have died, Kung Lao joins his ancestors in a new life. Liu Kang discovers that Shao Kahn has apparently killed Kung Lao. Enraged, he is able to defeat Shao Kahn. Before the portal closes, he is greeted by Kitana and thanked for saving Earth in the Outworld. This was the first hint that Liu Kang and Kitana might have had some kind of romance going. When Mileena is murdered, she finds her soul reborn in an evil place called the Netherrealm. She accepts surgery to an almighty god known as Shinnok. Her loyalty to Shao Kahn is replaced by her fear of Shinnok. Mileena plots to overthrow her father, the ability to read Kitana's mind, which I don't think she's ever had. Thus, she helps set up Shinnok's coming. No doubt because MK Mythologies and MK4 were now in development, so they had to put in some references to Shinnok. Nightwolf helps the other Earth warriors escape to a sacred land. Once there, they regroup and plan a form attack against Shao Kahn's invasion. They manage to reclaim the land that his people lost over the years. They establish their own proud nation and soon become the great leaders of Earth. Noob Saibot receives orders from Shinnok to join Khan's battle, but when Khan drops his guard, he attacks. So the fallen Elder God known as Shinnok can take both rounds and gain the powers he needs to strike back the Elder Gods who banished him to the Netherrealm. Rain, well, Kitana apparently turns him against him because his father was once a general in Danian's army and died at the hands of Shao Kahn himself. But he goes on a suicide attack to basically prove his loyalty. Now, this doesn't happen. Rain is kind of a dick, and his father's identity is someone very different. Raiden has to give up his own immortality in order to join the Earth Warriors. He finally engages Shao Kahn one-on-one and emerges victorious. Reptile. Reptile is ordered by Shao Kahn to find and kill Kitana. He is successful, but he finds himself shunned by the Emperor. Enraged, he turns against him and defeats him, but by killing him, he destroys the one chance to ever know his true race. Scorpion is inadvertently released from damnation in Hell, and Shao Kahn tries to recruit him into his army, but he discovers one of the chosen warriors to be Sub-Zero. Because he has vowed to protect the younger Sub-Zero, Scorpion turns against Shao Kahn, but he goes back to the pits of Hell, only to rise again another day. Here we see Scorpion's wildcard status in play. First he joins the bad guys, but then joins the good guys due to a code of honor. Sector. After terminating Sub-Zero, Sector is attacked by Shao Kahn's army. He basically goes inside Shao Kahn's forces and self-destructs. Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung's ending is basically that he betrays Shao Kahn once again and takes over Earth. Have a nice day. Shiva. Well, Shiva basically turns on her master, she defeats Mutaro, frees Earth as well as the Outworld. She then returns home and works to restore the pride and respect of her race. Sindel receives visions of her true past and turns against Shao Kahn. She discovered that her true husband was named Gerard. They once had a daughter named Kitana and ruled the realm called Edenia. But Sindel is able to free Earth, and she also releases Edenia and ensures a reunion with her 10,000-year-old daughter, Kitana. Smoke? Well, Smoke is captured and turned to a cyborg with a mission to kill Sub-Zero. But he learns he still has a soul, and he's able to help defeat Khan and save the world, but he is forever trapped in his artificial body. Poor guy. Sonya defeats Kano atop a skyscraper near Shao Kahn's fortress. Sonya is able to form the Outer World Investigation Agency, yada yada yada. Yeah, same old, same old. Stryker. Ignorant of why his soul was spared, he receives a vision from Raiden. He travels west, meets the new combatants, and basically just helps save the world. Nothing special. Sub-Zero? Well, he manages to face Cyrex and Sector, but not alone. He's able to convince Smoke that they are allies, and thus he basically defeats Shao Kahn and his Outward minions. He disappears into the shadows, his legacy known only by a select few. Yeah, kinda like Batman. Well, before I go, I'll talk real quick about Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Let's do it. Yeah, that sums up. It's one of the reasons why I didn't bother playing this very long. The audio is strangely muted, the sound effects are off, and for some reason the block and run button are swapped in this version. At least it was on my controller. But you do have an aggressive bar, which makes your character more powerful, and there's a new finishing move called Brutalities, which I honestly didn't even bother to pull off. When you ask me to mash and memorize a bunch of buttons really fast, I can't pull it off. Since I'm playing on PlayStation, you can play as the 4 boss characters, Goro, Shao Kahn, Mutaro, and Kintaro. They don't have combos, but they are not balanced. One attack from them does a lot of damage, though it is kind of fun to deal out damage to them after getting massacred by them in past games. Well, that's ultimately the Mortal Kombat 3 collection of games. I'd recommend playing Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 as the go-to version. I wouldn't recommend playing Mortal Kombat Trilogy. It's not worth it. Well, before we do Mortal Kombat 4, we gotta look at Mortal Kombat Anthology Sub-Zero. You know, I haven't played this game in over 10 years. I didn't really have particularly fond memories of it, but maybe? Thanks for watching, and take care. I'll see you next time.
Hey, I hope you liked the video. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more.
I own every single Mortal Kombat game open. It tells them how a young girl went out into space to help a woman find their mother. Eventually coming to contact with the other Lumas, and then Rosalia reveals something very stunning. Maybe.